All right, let's kick things off. Imagine this. You get a notification, a deposit hits your account, but it's not your usual paycheck.
Hmm, intriguing. Where are you going with this?
It's from something you probably walk past almost every day without a second thought. We're going to explore how those, ordinary ATM machines could actually be a source of steady cash flow.
Ah, okay. Taking the mundane and finding the hidden potential. I like it.
Exactly. So, our mission for this deep dive, drawing from material titled How Owning ATM Machines Can Make You Steady Money, is to kind of peel back the layers on ATM ownership.
You're right. And it's important to stress this isn't about some get-rich-quick fantasy. It's more about understanding let's call it a quiet hustle, a source of dependable income.
A quiet hustle. Yeah, I like that. So, for anyone listening who's thinking, wait, owning an ATM, how does that even work? Like the basics?
Well, the model itself is actually pretty straightforward. First, you need the machine. The source suggests an initial cost of maybe $2,000 to $3,000.
Okay, so there's an upfront investment.
Definitely. Then, and this is crucial, you need to find a good home for it, a place with plenty of people walking by.
Like where? What kind of places are we talking about?
Think high traffic spots. Gas stations are a common one. Barber shops, nail salons, places people frequent and might need cash.
Gotcha. So you buy it, you place it, then what? Just leave it.
Not quite. The other key part is keeping it stocked with cash. You have to load it so people can actually make withdrawals.
Right. Okay. So you put your cash in the machine and people take it out. How does that make you money? Where's the profit?
Ah, that comes from the surcharges. You know when you use an ATM that's not your bank's?
Yeah, you usually get hit with a fee, like 2, 3, maybe $4.
Exactly. That fee, usually between $2 and $4 according to the text, that's your income for each transaction made on your machine.
Okay, let's just run a quick example. Say 50 people use your machine in a day. That's not unreasonable for a busy spot, right?
Seems plausible for a good location, yeah.
And let's say you charge a $3 fee. So 50 times $3, that's $150 in a day.
That's the math. And you can see how that starts to add up over a week or a month. It's about generating that sort of steady, dependable flow.
It really is. Now, the material we looked at highlighted some interesting perks. One was having control over those fees yourself.
Yes, that's a big one. As the owner, you set the surcharge. Within reason, of course, you need to be competitive. But that control over your direct revenue per transaction is key.
Makes sense. And what about the passive income idea? Is it really just set it and forget it?
Well, passive might be a slight overstatement. Once it's set up, yes, it operates without you constantly fiddling with it. But you do have that responsibility of keeping it loaded with cash.
Right, the loading part. Can't forget that.
And occasional maintenance, though the source suggests that's pretty rare and usually simple. But it's not zero effort.
Okay, fair enough. But there was also mention of not always needing your own cash long term, something about investors or the location owners.
Yeah, that's an interesting angle. You might structure a deal where the business hosting the ATM provides the cash. Maybe they want the extra foot traffic your ATM brings.
Oh, okay, so they provide the float, maybe take a cut, or maybe just benefit from more customers coming in.
Precisely. Or you could partner with an investor who fronts the cash. It reduces your personal capital tied up in the machine's vault and could help you scale faster.
Which leads perfectly into scalability. It sounds like you could start with one, and if it works out, add more.
That's the idea. Learn the ropes with one machine, finding good locations, managing the cash, then replicate the process. 2 machines, 5, 10, you multiply your income streams.
But let's be real, it can't all be smooth sailing. What are the practical hurdles, the stuff you really need to manage?
Absolutely. Finding that prime location is probably the biggest make or break factor. You need consistent foot traffic that needs cash. Scouting takes effort.
And keeping it full of money, that's an ongoing task. You need systems for that.
Definitely. You need to monitor usage and replenish cash reliably. If the machine is empty, it's not making you anything. And like we said, while maintenance isn't constant, things can occasionally go wrong. You need to be prepared for that.
It's funny, you use ATMs all the time, pay that little fee, and rarely think about the actual business behind it. It's kind of hidden in plain sight.
It really is. And seeing it broken down like this, it shows how, these everyday transactions fuel a whole business model.
So if you had to boil it down, what's the core takeaway here?
I think it's about accessibility. It shows that you don't always need some revolutionary idea to build an income stream. Sometimes it's about effectively managing a single established service. With a reasonable investment and consistent effort, it can provide steady returns.
Real kind of boring but potentially unstoppable wealth, as the source material might put it.
Something like that, yeah. It's not flashy, but it can be effective.
Okay, so a final thought for everyone listening. Next time you hear that familiar ATM beep and the whirring sound of cash, just take a second.
Consider the business mechanics behind it.
Yeah. Could that kind of quiet, consistent operation be a potential avenue for you? Something to chew on?